Hey there, Rebel Crew. This is Emily Fortney here, author of the young adult fantasy series, The Camilla books. And welcome to my YouTube channel. As part of launching my YouTube channel, which I just did this month, I thought I would do my normal monthly book update as a YouTube video instead of just a normal blog post. So in the past, I have done one big blog post at the beginning of the month that does a book update and it does a life update of what's going on in my life, and that was sort of it. So now I've sort of rearranged things, and what I'm doing now is basically my email newsletter is the only place that you're going to read about my life updates. So if you're interested in my personal life or my author life, a little more intimately, you want to get on that email newsletter list because that's the only way that you're going to read about that. It's not going to be on the blog anymore, which, by the way, the link to sign up on my email newsletter is in the description below. So please go sign up for that because I think you will really enjoy that if you're not on that list already. And bonus, if you sign up on my email newsletter list, you will get a free ebook copy of the book number 1 in my series, which is called The Sacrifice of One. So if what I write sounds really interesting to you, this is a great way. Get on my email newsletter list. You can try my book for total free. It's an instant download. Again, link is in the bottom. So anyways, back to what I was saying about my format. I'm not going to do that great big blog post at the beginning of the month anymore. I'm now going to do my book updates sort of separately from my email newsletter and as a video. So I hope you really enjoy it. Let's get it. Have my iced coffee with me today. If any of you have ever been here for any of my live launch parties, you may have noticed that I'm sort of in the same setup as I am when I launch those, or as I am when I do those lives for my launch parties. I'm in the corner of my dining room, so I hope you enjoy that. But speaking of Camilla Crim, let's go ahead and get into an update on those books. So I launched book number 3 in this Camilla Crim series back at the very end of January, so January 2021. At the time that I'm recording this, it's April 2021. So it's now been 2 months. And by the way, if you need a visual, here's the book I'm talking about. After I launch a book, I always need to take a little break. So admittedly, when I finished launching The Dark Ruler, I really didn't work on much in the way of writing. I really did take a break. But of course, we are now 2 months since I've launched that book, and people might want to know what's going on. What am I working on? Where's the next book? That's fair. Back when I was launching The Dark Ruler, quite a lot of you actually asked if this was the last book in the series. And that kind of surprised me because it's definitely not. But when I thought about it, I started to realize that since this is book number 3 in the series, people might have thought that it was a trilogy and book number 3 would mean the end of the series. Well, it's definitely not the last book in the series. If you've read The Dark Ruler, then you know it ends on a pretty major cliffhanger, so definitely not the end of the series. I actually have a rough plot on 3 more books in the series. So if you include the prequel, this will hopefully be a 7-book series by the end of it. So I hope that's exciting for you. I hope you like the idea of this being a 7-book series. I like to binge read, I like to binge watch, so this will be a great series for that once it is completely done. There are technically 4 books out right now. There's the prequel and then book 1, book 2, book 3. Anyway, I know you want to get to the meat of it. What about book number 4 in the series? What about the next book in the series? What is going on with that? Well, I'm just going to be completely honest with you. I have not officially started working on book number 4 in the Camilla Crim series. And actually, that's intentional. So here's why. trust me, I want to be working on this book. I've done a lot of brainstorming in the shower. I've jotted down notes. I'm really excited about this book. I get excited about all my books, but we're finally in this next book, book number 4, we're finally going to get to know Camilla's mother a little better. We're going to find out where she lives, what she does. I won't give away any more than that, but it's going to be a really interesting book, and it's going to answer a lot of questions that have come up throughout the whole series. But here's the reason why I haven't started working on it yet. I first started writing the Camilla books way back in 2012. And in those, wow, yikes. Whew. If you guys know, I have a cat and he's right over here next to me, and he's meowing and purring and reacting when I talk, so he makes me laugh. Anyways, it has been almost 10 years since I started writing this series, and in those 10 years, I have never created an official Camilla knowledge base. So what do I mean by that? So in the TV industry, they'll use a term called a series Bible. So think about a TV series, and you can think about it as a book series too. A particularly really long series, they are produced over years and years, sometimes decades. And it's really easy to forget little details that happened way back in book 1 or way back in season 1 or whatever. Particularly if you're thinking about it from an author's perspective, I'm just one person working on this whole series myself. It's been 10 years since I first drafted The Faintly Beating Heart, which is the prequel to the series. So it's very easy for me to forget little things. You always think, as an author, you always think you're going to remember those important details about your characters or about your plot or whatever, but you just don't, you forget. So it solidifies for me things like Camilla has green eyes, Reed has a scar on his shoulder, Mirabelle was once married and had a daughter that died at the age of 7. So things like that, their backstories, there's timeline things, character details, think character physical description, their backstories, their personalities. So I'm spending my time right now going back through and reading each one of the Camilla books that I have already written and published. I'm going through them with a fine-tooth comb, very detailed. I'm writing down notes. I'm recording character details, timeline information, settings details, any sort of terms or items that appear in my books. So think, if you've read my books, there's a mineral called Katali. And there's a whole history with Katali. And I've written a lot of that history, but I don't always remember all the details. Think about a history class that you might be in. It might be really interesting to you as you're reading it, but you might forget it. So I'm recording all of those things down, any sort of little detail. I'm doing chapter descriptions. I'm doing plot points and remembering, okay, which chapter in which book did this specific event happen in? So all those details are getting recorded into a document that I'm creating. And when it's done, it will be a Camilla knowledge base, and I'll be able to refer to it as I go forth and write book number 4 in this series. I'm not having to pick up one of the random books and flip through it and look for the chapter and look for the thing that I need to know and get the question answered that I'm looking for. I'll just be able to refer to my knowledge base and okay, Felipe, go on. I'll just be able to refer to my knowledge base and look up that term, look up that character, read their backstory, or go into my master timeline and look to see, okay, when did that thing happen? What exactly happened? Who said that? And what did they mean by it? Etc., etc. It's just going to make my life a lot easier moving forward as I do write these final 3 books in the series. So far, I have gone through The Faintly Beating Heart, which is the prequel to the series, and I'm halfway through The Sacrifice of One. So I do still need to get through The Bear Grap Rebels and technically also the Dark Ruler. However, since I did just recently finish the Dark Ruler, that one will be a little easier to write those details down because I will recall them, will remember them a little better than the other things. But I promise, once I am done with this Camilla knowledge base, I will dive right into book number 4 in this series. And if all of this talk about the Camilla knowledge base and jotting down that information sounds interesting to you, even as a reader, I know a lot of authors read my stuff too. So if that sounds interesting to you, I am actually considering making a video once I am done with the knowledge base and showing you exactly the program I'm using, the templates I'm using, exactly all the information that I'm putting down. So if that is something that sounds interesting to you, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you'd like me to make that video and I will do that. Okay, so that is my official book update for April. We'll be finishing up the knowledge base hopefully soon, and then hopefully by next month I will be able to give you a little bit more information about book number 4. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button down below so that YouTube's algorithm graces me and shows my video to more people who might be interested in what I have to say. And don't forget, you can grab a free copy, a free ebook copy of The Sacrifice of One by signing up on my email newsletter. That link is in the description down below. And I will see you guys again next time. Goodbye.